Why, hello everyone. It is GleeCon, and you're looking here at Millie. Long time no see, our young gnomish mage. This was a character on this show, Lore of Warcraft. We once did a reboot. Um, right now we're doing a World of Warcraft Classic completionist walkthrough, and my first attempt at that, I really got crazy, and I tried to do one of every single class in the game as well, so we could do this small handful of class quests. Not really realizing that I would have to level to 69 characters as opposed to 2, so it was effectively more than quadrupling the amount of work, and I have a hard enough time keeping up with it right now. So it was becoming very untenable. It also diluted the content, so I was either going to have to double up. Anyway, long story for an aside, but this was one of our favorites, a fan favorite, one of my favorites. She was the last one left when I was kind of off the books, treating them all as hardcore. She survived the longest. Just a fun character. She also had some of the coolest moments in the history, so she's back. And the reason why we're with her today is that we're doing a little Thanksgiving pop-in to say hi. So, of course, Thanksgiving is a busy day. I'll be cooking all day long, but I didn't want to neglect you guys. I hope you guys have some good time. I hope, in the very least, you get some delicious food today. And you know what? Let me even scratch that. I hope, in the very least, you find the time to just... One of my favorite quotes, I actually use this as my tagline in my work email on all my emails. Like, you can have like an auto signature or whatever. Kurt Vonnegut is probably my favorite author of all time. And one of my favorite quotes of him is something along the lines of, make sure throughout your day, or whenever you get the opportunity, to, when you're experiencing something nice and pleasant and positive, to look around, take it all in, and say, if this isn't nice, then I don't know what is. So the whole spirit behind it is I hope that we all take a moment to take a beat, to pull back and look around and experience just the beauty that is this earth that we live on. The birds and the trees, the temperature in the air, the pleasant comforts that we have, this game that we play, and to just have appreciation. So if nothing else, I hope you find a moment to have some stillness in your mind and your heart, and you get the opportunity to be grateful, full of grace today on this Thanksgiving Day. All right, but in order to get one beat on the World of Warcraft, we're going to read one of the books today. So in Stormwind Castle, you can also find this book in the Wetlands, I think probably in an Alliance area. It's hard to find if you're not Alliance, but there's a book called The Kaldorei and the Well of Eternity, and Millie is going to read it for us today. So here we go. 10,000 years before the orcs and humans clashed in their first war, the world of Azeroth cradled only one massive continent surrounded by the infinite raging seas. That landmass, known as Kalimdor, was home to a number of disparate races and creatures, all vying for survival amongst the savage elements of the waking world. At the Dark Continent's center was a mysterious lake of incandescent energies. This Stormwind music, which I love, is battling me. The lake, which would later be called the Well of Eternity, was the true heart of the world's magic and natural power. Drawing its energies from the infinite great dark beyond the world, the well acted as a mystical fount, sending its potent energies out across the world to nourish life in all its wondrous forms. In time, a primitive tribe of nocturnal humanoids cautiously made their way to the edges of the mesmerizing enchanted lake. The feral nomadic humanoids, drawn by the well's strange energies, built crude homes upon its tranquil shores. Over time, the well's cosmic power affected the strange tribe, making them strong, wise, and virtually immortal. The tribe adopted the name Kaldorei, which meant children of the stars in their native tongue. To celebrate their budding society, they constructed great structures and temples around the lake's periphery. The Kaldorei, or Night Elves, as they would later be known, worshipped the moon goddess Elune, and believed that she slept within the well's shimmering depths during the daylight hours. The early Night Elf priests and seers studied the well with an insatiable curiosity, driven to plumb its untold secrets and power as their society grew. The Night Elves explored... Oh, I didn't see that period. The Night Elves explored the breadth of Kalimdor and encountered its myriad denizens. The only creatures that gave them pause were the ancient and powerful dragons. I mean, you could argue the trolls. Though the great serpentine beasts were often reclusive, they did much to safeguard the known lands from potential threats. The Night Elves believed that the dragons held themselves to be the protectors of the world, and that they and their secrets were best left alone. In time, the Night Elves' curiosity led them to meet and befriend a number of powerful entities, not the least of which was Cenarius, a mighty demigod of the primordial forest lands. The great-hearted Cenarius grew fond of the inquisitive Night Elves and spent a great deal of the time teaching them about the natural world. The tranquil Kaldorei developed a strong empathy for the living forests of Kalimdor and reveled in the harmonious balance of nature. Yet as the seemingly endless ages passed, the Night Elves' civilization expanded both territorially and culturally. Their temples, roads, and dwelling places stretched across the breadth of the dark continent Azshara. The Night Elves' beautiful and gifted queen built an immense, wondrous palace on the well's shore that housed her favored servitors within its bejeweled halls. Her servitors, whom she called the Kaldorei, or Highborn, doted on her every command and believed themselves to be greater than the rest of their lower caste brethren. Though Queen Azshara was loved equally by all of her people, the Highborn were secretly hated by the jealous masses. Sharing the priest's curiosity towards the Well of Eternity, Azshara ordered the educated Highborn to plumb its secrets and reveal its true purpose in the world. The Highborn buried themselves in their work and studied the well ceaselessly. In time, they developed the ability to manipulate and control the well's cosmic energies. As their reckless experiments progressed, the Highborn found that they could use their newfound powers to either create or destroy at their leisure. The hapless Highborn had stumbled upon primitive magic and were now resolved to devote themselves to its mastery. Although they agreed that magic was inherently dangerous if handled irresponsibly, Azshara and her Highborn began to practice their spellcraft with reckless abandon. Cenarius and many of the wizened Night Elf scholars warned that only calamity would result from toying with the clearly volatile arts of magic, but Azshara and her followers stubbornly continued to expand their burgeoning powers. As their powers grew, a distinct change came over Azshara and the Highborn. The haughty, aloof upper class became increasingly callous and cruel towards their fellow Night Elves. A dark, brooding pall veiled Azshara's once entrancing beauty. She began to withdraw from her loving subjects and refused to interact with any but her trusted Highborn priests. A young, brazen scholar named Furion Stormrage, there's a name change that has been retconned, who had spent much of his time studying the well's effects, began to suspect that a terrible power was corrupting the Highborn and his beloved queen. Though he could not conceive the evil that was to come, he knew that the Night Elves' lives would soon be changed forever. Alright, so that's cool. It is, giving us a, that's something called Draconic for Dummies, that's funny. It's giving us kind of a recap of all the things we've been reading in the Warcraft Encyclopedia, and things we've read books about, and very little, if anything, has changed from that. Maybe just little tweaks like Furion's name. But hey, guys, I appreciate you. I hope you have a lovely, fantastic day. Tomorrow we'll check in, and as we run around the world, tomorrow evening I'll drop another post. I do have an interesting one I put on the Patreon. If you want to check out the Lore of Assassin's Creed, it is a deep, deep cut, a long episode on one of the most hard to find things that I've sussed out and put on camera. So thank you everybody so much for watching and for listening. Millie says bye as well, and I will see you guys on the very next episode of Lore of Warcraft. Peace.